All right. Welcome back to Bryan and Bryan TV. The next episode is here. We're having a great time after regionals. It's it's been quite a season of ups and downs and everything else. I hope everyone else has enjoyed it as much as we have. We're enjoying the show, and we're also enjoying talking to a lot of folks out there. Really had a lot of great conversations at regionals, and looking forward to some more upcoming conversations as we finish out the season with nationals. But today's show is basically about, okay, what now? What do you do between summer and between now and summer? Because these times maybe you have a couple athletes going to nationals, but the majority of your team is still training. What do you do? How do you get those athletes, keep them motivated and keep them training and kind of set some short term goals? But as Gene Watson says, how do you slow down so you can move fast? And sometimes you have to go slow in order to move fast and learning new skills, because you got to have better basics. You got to have a better plan. You have to have better strength. All these things come into play. And Bryan, I know we were talking before the show that these things are really important to get on paper and get implemented ASAP. The week after regionals, you kind of take a break. But now we have 6 weeks basically until the end of school year, till June. And what do you do?
Well, Bryan, first thing I like to do is I like to set up a 6-week goal sheet for all the levels. And sometimes you have to do it for individual athletes. Sometimes you have that JE level 8 that's a little bit ahead of the curve, and their JOs just aren't going to be able to keep up. So you just kind of set it up however many columns you need on the list, and you set it up all 6 events, and then you do a flexibility and strength goal as well. And the way I have set up is I have 3 goals on each event, and in 6 weeks I'm going to go back. I'm going to see where we're at, and then for me, I do 2 6-week periods, and that just enables me to kind of get almost all the way into the middle of July, because I have a 2-week break because I go on vacation, and I know the athletes want vacation. And I think it works out really well doing 6-week periods, because I can ahead of time tell the athletes what I expect. I can set the tone. I can break it up into bite-sized pieces for the athletes, and it's something measurable, so that whenever I'm talking with parents and athletes and say, "Hey, we're not progressing in this area. We need to change our work ethic or our mental mindset behind what we're doing," and I think it works out really well.
Yeah, you said something that's key, and I think a lot of coaches forget about this. But flexibility is, well, if I was to rank it in order, I would go flexibility, strength, skills. Because without the flexibility, then there's some skills that are just not going to be obtainable. The athlete's just not going to be able to learn them unless you've done the flexibility preparation. Then you've done the strength work that enhances in some ways the flexibility. The skills aren't going to be obtainable. They can't accomplish them. And some coaches, I've had a couple come to me even over regionals and want to know strength plans, this and that. And with the strength plan that I'm sending out to everybody, I'm working on revamping it a little bit with some new stuff. But with the strength plan, it has an equal amount of time spent on flexibility.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually have that before the strength. So, and I know at the end of workout is the best time to work strength or to work flexibility. I mean, in my opinion, the muscles are hot. They're
Mm-hmm.
kind of burn out. You've used them up. You've got the lactic acid built. It's a great time to work flexibility. But I also think at the beginning, you get the body warm and you work flexibility. You specifically and intentionally work it. Then you come back at the end right before you leave practice, and you go over those key pieces again: the splits, the pancake,
Yeah.
the bridges, all that stuff.
Well, Bryan, when I look at flexibility on an athlete, this is what I want. I want them to consistently improve and retain what they've improved on. I don't care if they're the tightest athlete in the world, as long as they consistently improve. I'm happy. That means they're putting into work. Eventually, they're going to get where I want them to be. And then as long as they're retaining that, meaning they're stretching often and consistently enough on their own and in workout, then I'm happy. Yin Alvarez, Daniel Leva's head coach, or Daniel Leva's stepdad and coach, he does something really cool. Is he says after you condition a body part, you need to immediately stretch that body part. So it's like between every set or type of conditioning, they're doing some sort of stretch.
You know what's funny about that? When I was bodybuilding,
Mm-hmm.
and we would get closer to the competitions, especially closer to the competitions, and then during the bulking phase, that was really important. We did the same thing.
Yeah.
Like that you went and you did your set, whatever the weight was, whatever the reps were, and then you immediately went and stretched. And we even used the rollers, doing a lot of the rollers to break up the fascia and all that stuff. So that's a key element. And I think some of the coaches forget because they're looking at it and going, okay, my athletes are really far behind on strength because they're not strong enough to do X, Y, and Z on rings and P bars and floor and blah, blah, blah. So I need to work strength. Well, sometimes you work the strength, but you also have to work the flexibility or else you'll tighten them up so much they can't accomplish what you need them to accomplish.
Yeah. Well,
So,
getting back to the right after season kind of shtick. One of the things that I think coaches, one of the pitfalls that they have is they start getting an off season and they just kind of let their athletes go. They just kind of go, all right, we're going to see where this takes us. And they kind of stop intentionally developing their athletes. And that's kind of the phrase I want you guys to think about over the next 6 weeks is how am I intentionally developing this skill or how am I intentionally developing this athlete in this area? Don't just sit back and hope that they do right. Go back and work on those basics or the next level basics and make sure they're on point and they're ready to go.
no, that's a good point. And we talked about it before the show is without the intentionality and without putting it down where it's measurable, then you really are just shooting in the dark, so to speak. Taking a handful of darts and throwing it on the wall and hoping you get a great outcome, at least out of one of the darts. And I think if people just focus on take a little time, plan it out, talk to a few people, get there. What are they doing? How are they doing it? It may not work for you. It may not work in your gym, but at least you get some input from other folks, and then you can compile all that, put it into your own plan, and then move forward with hopefully a successful, a successful and intentional training strategy that you can get your guys, better. And like I said, you go slow to move fast. And I think, Bryan, your method of doing it 6 weeks and your timing on your vacation is probably perfect because, like you said, the guys are finishing school and most of them have finals and this and that. And, time the vacation right at the end there, right before the summer, and then coming back with another 6-week block of just intentional, basics and honing in on certain skills is really key to moving them forward. So I think that's great stuff. And you manage the gym. What do you say for the gym owner? What do you do between now and summer if you're the gym owner? I know I did Tackling Thursday yesterday, threw out a couple of quick tips about some things that you can do to, start preparing if you haven't already, which you're a little behind the 8 ball if you haven't, but you still got a few weeks here to get it together. What are you doing as the gym manager to get your programs up and ready for summer?
Well, we just came out of the season, so my time is actually a little bit more open than it's been. I can come back and actually focus on something other than competitive gymnastics. So, we were at day camps during the summer, and I'm currently working on getting all of our marketing and everything set up and all the supplies and everything ordered for that. Additionally, like I'm recovering a springboard. There's like all little small projects that have been sitting around waiting to get done because I've been traveling or worried about the athletes. They're all getting done. So we're basically just prepping for summer. We're trying to do some staff education right now. Um, we're trying to help out whatever competitive programs are still competing. like Excel State is this weekend down in San Antonio. I think level 8 regionals or level 9 regionals, something like that, is in Denver, Colorado.
In Denver, yeah.
So we got coaches out for that. So I'm stepping over, helping out wherever I can in those programs. So basically all the little odds and ends that you have to do, like advertising that's been kind of sitting back, marketing, making sure that your social media stuff is up and running and going.
Yeah, that's what I was. I was talking about that yesterday. It's like, okay, hey, don't be afraid to brag a little bit on your coaches, especially have some that are, sit on boards. Maybe they've coached, some of the elite athletes. Maybe brag on them. Get your marketing out there because people want to hear about the results of your program, the benefits to their kid, and there's a lot of competition in the summer for summer programs. I mean, everybody that you can think of has some gimmick or gizmo or activity that they're pushing and selling and twisting and spinning that is really beneficial to kids. And in my opinion, for all athletes, not just gymnasts, but all athletes, gymnastics is a great sport to get in and do a little bit over the summer to build, body awareness, strength, the flexibility, speed. I mean, all kinds of balance. Everything is incorporated in there. And it also, it accentuates the learning because they learn in all three manners. They learn by listening, by seeing, and by doing. And I don't know another sport that is really, as tough as gymnastics, but also that works the neuromuscular body functions and brain functions the way gymnastics does. So it's great, but you got to sell the benefits of it. You can't talk to people in the lingo I just talked to because they'll look at you and go, huh? What do you say? But it's good. And, you have to be prepared. Athletes, we talked about, Bryan's got a 6-week plan. He's intentional. He's got it down as a strategy. He's going to take a break for a couple of weeks and go on vacation, come back 6 weeks. And then after that, do you start your prep for the season in mid-July? Do you go into that, or do you have another 6-week block as you end the summer?
We follow that up with the skill consistency building. We're not quite into combinations yet, but we will start them during that period just to kind of introduce them and getting the athletes used to connecting the new skills. But
Awesome.
yeah, consistency is number one after that. Because if in 12 weeks you can develop all the skills you need and then be refining some of the ones that you're a little iffy on, you'll be set.
Perfect. Well, hey guys, today's show is, but we have a couple of sponsors. As we always note, we've got a big one we're still working on, and we actually have another call set up for next week to hopefully finalize that deal. And that one's going to be an awesome sponsor. Not that our other sponsors aren't, but that one's going to be a really that was taking some time
changer.
And also going to be that's going to be the game changer sponsor. But hey, go check out Canaway. Canaway sponsors our show. I've got the website up in the show notes. Martech Collaborative, they're building out some of our website and other platforms so that we can enhance the show and make it better for some of the bigger sponsors that are hopefully coming on. And then go check out the equipment, the athletic equipment warehouse, or actually equipment house. Those guys over there are doing some great things, not only to sell equipment, but they're also able to repair a lot of your equipment. And I know sometimes you look at a piece of equipment, like you were talking about recovering boards, and you look at the piece of equipment, you're like, God, I just need to get a new one. Well, these guys can come in and actually repair it and make it, almost good as new. And you don't have to spend, a new vault board's what, almost $1,000, $800 to $1,000. So if you're talking to spend, a few hundred, save $500 to $400 on getting the board reworked so that it's almost as good as new with new foam, new padding, carpet, what have you. Then that's a big savings, and it helps your program because you can put that money elsewhere.
Yeah.
So, Bryan, anything to close out the show?
Like and subscribe. It'll help us
that
out,
would
guys.
help us a lot.
It'll help us out. It'll enable us to do a lot of things down the road, guys. So if you like our content, like and subscribe.
And also, pay attention. We're going to be working with Wayne Thompson, the state chairman, and hopefully doing some weekend tours over the summer to come out to some gyms and help them with starting and improving their boys programs specifically. And we can also help your gym too. You just have to give us a direct message. Of course, it would help if you liked and subscribed too. But do send us a direct message, and we can also plan on coming out and visiting your gym and doing some stuff with your program to help you build and improve. But now we got to close out, and we'll see you next week.
Later, guys.